What's up, guys? Welcome into MLB DFS Live for Wednesday, April 14th. Forgot what day it was for a second. I didn't know if it was Wednesday, but it is Wednesday. Welcome in. Bales and I are going to talk the usual here. We're going to talk pitchers, stacks, some of our favorite bats, and then we're going to just focus on any questions you guys have. Go ahead and drop those in. Bales, I don't know if you saw, but we just got some huge news. The Astros put Bregman, Alvarez, and Altuve all on the injured list with COVID. So, or I don't know if they have it or whatever. They were close contact. Regardless, they're not playing tonight. I think the Astros were going to be one of the highest owned stacks. I probably wasn't really going to have much Astros in my lineup. So this kind of bums me out because I think they were going to be really high owned. So that's going to spread the ownership out to the other places that I was going to be playing. I don't know if you thought differently or if you were in on the Astros. I mean, I think they were a great play. I just wasn't finding them in my lineup that I was building a lot.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. I just wasn't going to personally use them. I feel like there's a couple stacks that I'm likely to take a stand on tonight, and Houston wasn't really one of them. I think they're fine. I still think it's like, I don't know, I guess slightly reasonable to play them because it's not like Fulmer's an overly dominant pitcher or anything. Um, you're also going to get some guys kind of, I guess, probably lower owned because no one's really going to stack them out, I bet. But
Yeah, their
they're
lineup just
pretty
came
cheap.
out. So there's going to be some value now because of this. Miles Straw's leading off, Diaz second, Brantley, Gurriel, Tucker, Correa, Toro, Dawson, Castro. So, I mean, there's going to be some value. Some of these guys might end up being chalky just because they're so cheap. So I'll have to check like ownership percentage when we get off the stream. But I might use like one or two as like a one-off now if they're really cheap.
Yeah, I have no problems with that. I still think they're in a fine spot. It's just I wasn't really working my way towards them.
Yeah. All right, we'll start with pitching here. I mean, I think the pitching pool on this specific slate is very clear, and it's four guys: Lance McCullers, Dustin May, Charlie Morton, and Carlos Rodon. I don't know if you're playing anyone other than those guys. I think you could throw Zach Plesac in there for tournaments, but that's about it. I think it looks like this Baltimore game is going to get postponed, so we can
Mhm.
pretty much cross that off. So it's not a huge slate, and I think pitching wise, like those are really the guys that I'm focused on today.
Yeah, I'm fine with any of them. I think you can add Zach Wheeler into the mix. I know it's kind of a tough matchup to the point where New York has a really good offense on paper, but it's not like they've been overly dominant, and there are a lot of strikeouts in it. So I'm 100% fine with Zach Wheeler. And then I'm kind of intrigued to see Josh Fleming's ownership. He just gets the Texas matchup. I'm not going to personally be using him. If I'm playing around there, you either drop down to Charlie Morton or you go up to Zach Wheeler. I think that both of them are better than Fleming, but I would be interested to see if he actually does get ownership tonight or not.
Yeah, I'll be curious on that as well. So who are you playing? Who are your favorite pitchers for today?
I feel like Morton is the cash guy. You're more or less just going to play him, and then you likely will play one of McCullers or Dustin May. I feel like at the moment, I slightly lean May, but I don't really have too many issues with McCullers. So I feel like those three are probably where you're looking in cash. I do think that, especially with the Houston value now, you probably can go McCullers May if you want to. I just don't really think that's going to be the top option just because Charlie Morton is so underpriced. In tournaments, I really, really like Zach Wheeler. I kind of talked about that a little bit. I know that he's a risky option, but anytime you get a guy that reasonably could be put in the Cy Young conversation at extremely low ownership, I'll take it. Um, Obviously, he's not going to be literally not owned at all because it's still Zach Wheeler and he's 8,400. It doesn't make any sense. And then, like you said, Carlos Rodon, I do think is a really good play. You kind of talked about him. Was it yesterday? And then he got scratched.
Yeah, that was Monday, I think, which I actually like because there was a lot more high end pitching on the Monday slate, so it's going to be tough to play him today. Like I think you could easily make the case for him over Dustin May or Lance McCullers, and he's a little bit cheaper. So I actually like how that worked out. Agree with you. Morton is definitely too cheap. Good matchup versus Miami. I haven't seen their lineup yet, but they're projected to have 6 righties in there. He's obviously really good against righties. So it's tough for me to like not want to play him. But I do like the double spend up. I think it depends just kind of on your lineup and who you're playing. Like I think playing McCullers and May or one of those guys in Rodon is completely fine. Or if you want to play Morton, I think it's fine too. I think all 4 of these guys are really good plays. I think McCullers is going to be like I think the chalk is probably McCullers and Morton because people really like to play McCullers in DFS for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Not that he's not good, but I mean people just love to play him. He's chalk. I feel like every time he pitches. And Morton is just too cheap against Miami. So I think those will be the 2 highest owned guys.
The only thing that would have me thinking that May could be higher owned than McCullers, which I agree. I actually think that McCullers probably is a little higher owned, is that how often is it you see a 2-9 team total for someone? And it's not even like May's over 10K or anything. So a lot of people use the Vegas lines to go with their pitching, and Dustin May has basically by far the best Vegas line of any pitcher tonight. So that's more or less, I guess, where his ownership's going to come from.
Yeah, I agree. This Rockies team is just horrible, man. Like they're not good on the road. Haven't been good on the road probably ever, but definitely not the last few seasons. They obviously take a hit with Arenado not there. And at times they just look lost. Like I know Bauer's one of the best pitchers in baseball, but I mean it's like to the point like they literally like just couldn't do anything when he was pitching. And Dustin May doesn't have that sort of strikeout upside, but he has electric stuff. And we saw him strike out 8 in his first start, so it's not crazy to think he takes a step forward, strikeout wise this season.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Dustin May is absurdly young. He's legit just going to keep getting better. There's pitchers that plateau. Dustin May is not at that point in his career. He's still way too young to have reached what he's going to be. So he's still going to get consistently better. And I feel like his first start kind of showed that he does have the strikeout stuff, because if you watched him pitch, last year, did he come up for like a cup of coffee 2 years ago? I'm not 100% sure.
I think he pitched a little bit 2 years ago, but it might have been out of the bullpen off the top of my head.
His stuff is just crazy when you watch him throw. So as soon as he kind of really hones in on it, I feel like honestly he's going to be a true ace in the MLB, and we're just kind of scratching the surface with him at this point.
Yeah, so before we move on, the reason I like Rodon so much, one, he's been really good against the Indians, and I'm not a big BVP guy, but he's faced them a lot. We have over 70 plate appearances against this Indians lineup, and this Indians lineup is not as good as it used to be, right? I think we all know that, but under a 290 xWOBA allowed, 26% strikeouts, so good numbers there. He looked really good he looked really good in the spring, and then first started he was up to 98 with his fastball, so I think he's healthy and ready to go. And he was scratched because of a stomach ache, so I'm not worried about any like limitations or anything like that. So I think his upside's right there with McCullers and May.
Yeah, I don't have any issues at all with it. I think I don't know. My problem is like Zach Wheeler at 84 is just so enticing. I get the matchup, but man, not cash. I don't think I would go there in cash, but I don't know. That spot's just really good in my opinion.
Yep. So if you guys have any questions on pitchers, go ahead, ask. We'll move on to stacks. So it sounds like neither of us were going to play Astros, so you can go ahead and give me your favorite stacks for today.
I feel like in cash, well, I'll start off by saying that I wanted literally both sides of Seattle-Baltimore, and now you get none, so that kind of sucks. But in cash, I feel like it's got to be Atlanta. I have no problems with Houston. I think that's completely fine, but I watched Neidhart pitch against the Mets. He's not good. He's super wild, misses a spot a lot. He just doesn't have great stuff. I think that unlike the Mets, the Braves can really take it to him. And then the one stack that I can't really get off of in tournaments is the Phillies. Peterson, at this point in his career, is not a good pitcher. There's a lot of people that want to believe he's a good pitcher. It's just not the case. I think he has upside for his entire career, but at this point, he's not good. He was really bad at home last year, and he's atrocious against right-handed bats. And I think that the Phillies sent out, what is it, 7 right-handed bats today. I think that the only lefty is Bryce Harper, and I would be 100% fine playing Harper lefty. It doesn't bother me at all. So the Phillies their implied total is 4-2, and they're going to have virtually no ownership. And I mean, I just really, really like the matchup against Peterson.
Yeah, I think the Phillies are an interesting call. Good leverage spot. They're only implied for 4.2 runs right now. Don't think they'll garner a ton of attention, so that's a really good spot to go in tournaments. I think, like you said, Braves are number 1 for me as well, and then Tampa Bay's number 2. Um, I don't love stacking Tampa Bay, but this guy for Texas just gets literally no strikeouts, which it's going to be really fluky to stack against him, I feel, because he has really good control and he can get ground balls. So it's kind of going to be BABIP dependent, but when you just literally can't strike anyone out, eventually that's going to, like, you're going to have a couple starts where you just get blown up because you just have no ability to get swings and misses. So I do think the Rays are right there, particularly some of their lefties. But
yeah, I agree. I really like that.
I'm trying to think. Other than I think the Phillies are definitely an interesting leverage one. I don't know if I have anything. I mean, the Dodgers, we had to talk about them. The Dodgers are obviously right there. John Gray is not as bad as Sensatella, but they still have a ton of lefty power they can get to him. They're expensive, so I don't know if that's where you would go in cash, but for tournaments, you can stack them up for sure. They would be 2 or 3, I think, if I was just ranking stacks.
Yeah, I think they would probably be 3 or 4 for me. I think you could flip flop the Dodgers, Phillies. I think I would have Atlanta first. I know that. I think I would probably have Tampa second, maybe. I think 2, 3, 4 are all kind of up in the air.
Yeah, Phillies. I think you've kind of talked me into them. I think they are probably the top leverage spot, just because everyone else. If you take the Dodgers away, and the Braves and the Rays, and then obviously Houston, no one else has a huge implied total. So I don't think any of those teams will get a bunch of ownership at all. So I definitely think Philly's interesting. I honestly don't mind the Tigers in, like, if you're playing like the $3 on FanDuel or like one of those huge tournaments. I don't mind the Tigers. I know McCullers is good and he can get ground balls, but this Tigers team's been playing really well. They do have more power than the last few seasons. You know, so if you want to take a shot in a tournament on something that's not going to be owned, I don't mind the Tigers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be fine. You have Badu somehow he doesn't stop.
I know, he's a beast. And then you Mazzara has power. They have him now. Ramos has been out of his mind, dude. He has like 5 home runs already. I don't know where that came from, but
yeah, he's still only 3,300 too. It's crazy how cheap he is.
Yeah, I made a stupid move yesterday on DraftKings. Like, we crushed on FanDuel. I had Duval there. Obviously, it's like 70 FanDuel points. But I had Ramos and Mazzara and somebody else, and I moved off of them on DraftKings in favor of it. I don't even remember what I moved it to, but it just sucked because obviously they both home run. So
yeah, I ended up I had the 5 stack of the Dodgers, and then I had Ramos and Mazzara for Detroit, but also had Alex Bregman, who did virtually nothing. And
I did avoid Houston, which was good, but I don't know. It was an unlucky night, I feel. All right, we'll kind of just talk about some favorite bats before we head out of here. If you could play, like, we'll say no salary right now, just your favorite 2 or 3 batters for the slate.
I can just play literally anyone.
Yeah, we'll take salary out of the equation for right now.
Ronald Acuna. I feel like he's the type of guy that just would absolutely dominate someone that has no control because any way he gets on, he can score fantasy points. And then honestly, probably I would add Freddie Freeman to it because you're always cool with Freddie Freeman against a weak right-handed pitcher. You're honestly always cool with Freddie Freeman against anyone, but especially a weak righty. And then I guess I would go JT Realmuto if I'm just throwing in a third. I think that Realmuto is in a really good spot. It's just kind of sucks when you're paying 5,100 for a catcher.
Yeah, no one will play Realmuto, so that is interesting. For tournaments, I think top three for me would probably be Freeman, Corey Seager, and Austin Meadows, I guess, since Alvarez. I did like Alvarez a lot, but now that he's not going to be in the lineup.
Austin Meadows over Acuna?
Yeah, I like Austin Meadows a lot today. But no, I mean Acuna is fine. I have no issues. I don't know if I'll be able to fit him in, but we'll see. Value. I'm gonna pull this up and look for some value. Do you have any value options off the top of your head? Yeah, I'm gonna look at those guys.
Yeah, I mean Miles Straw, way too cheap. I feel like he's just like so stupidly priced. You could say the same about Nomar Mazara. He's 2,100. I don't care if he's playing McCullers. 2,100 is just stupid cheap. Realistically, all of Detroit. I think if you're not looking at someone for Detroit, you have like Roman Quinn. I don't necessarily want to use him because he's hitting 8th, and don't absolutely love that, especially with the pitcher hitting behind him. But he's only 2,200. You have Garcia for Texas. He's 2K, literally the min price. He's hitting 4th, so don't really have any issues with that. I feel like that's actually a decent amount. And then obviously we talked about Wilson Ramos. He's 3,300.
Yeah, yeah, you covered it pretty well in terms of value. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna end up. Yeah, you did. I'm just looking like I don't know. I'm definitely locking Freeman in, I think, on DraftKings. And I like Ozuna. Ozuna's only 4,200, man. That's just too cheap. He was that same price last night. Had the slow start, but he homered last night. Like he'll get on track. So I think Ozuna's too cheap. So I might put those guys in. Austin Riley is cheap. He's batting 7th. But he's pretty cheap at third base.
Yeah, I have no problems with that. I feel like literally anyone for Atlanta, I'm kind of good with. There's just, I don't know. There's certain guys that I generally don't play, like Inciarte. He's 2,400. Like I have no problems going there if you want because he's so cheap. But hitting 8th, I don't really like to use guys hitting 8th with a pitcher behind him because it kind of takes away from more or less the wraparound. Whereas like on an AL team, you aren't basically guaranteed an out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, give me some bold calls. Bold call for pitcher, and then your home run call for batters.
Bold call for pitcher. I'll say Zach Wheeler scores the highest of any pitcher on the slate.
Okay.
Against his former team.
Hashtag revenge. We get revenge narratives even in baseball.
Yep, we get a revenge. And then for a bold call for a batter, I'll go Alec Bohm falls a triple shy of the cycle.
A triple short of the cycle. Wow, I like that. I actually think Bohm. What is his price on DraftKings? Because is he
4,000? Pretty cheap.
He's right there with Riley. So that could be an interesting cash game decision. Bold call for pitcher. I'll go 11 strikeouts for Carlos Rodon. And 11 strikeouts. I
like that.
Yeah, home run call is. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Dansby Swanson.
That's not someone I was expecting.
His StatCast stuff, I know it's early. Like it's tough to look at that stuff this early in the season, but he looks really good. He's been hitting the ball really well.
No, I like it. And I don't think many people are gonna play Dansby Swanson. I know. I like the call. I like it.
All right, if you guys have any further questions, you can get into our Discord for free, dfskarma.com. There's a banner right on the top. Click that. Get in there. You can ask us questions at any point of the day, any sport. There's tons of people in there talking. Obviously, if you want to pick up a Core Play subscription, you can do that as well on the website, or go to dfskarma.com/sign up. And then, check out all the free content. Bales writes articles every day. I have a pitcher article every day. Got to pick up a subscription if you want access to the final thoughts, but you can view game theory for free on the website every day. Tomorrow's Thursday. I haven't looked at baseball, but I'm sure we'll have a show tomorrow. And with that being said, good luck tonight, guys. See you next time.